r/AskReddit by Keyboard Warrior comments. How does someone politely end a conversation with a person who won't stop talking? Worst case I've ever had, I basically gave every verbal cue I knew of, eventually stood up, then stood in the doorway, then backed out of the doorway. And this dude was still talking. In the end I just said I'll be back and closed the door on him mid-sentence. I'm an Uber driver. I was once summoned to pick up 2 people for just this reason. They had me drive 4 blocks /.25 miles /1.5 minutes to another bar just to get out of a conversation with someone. Minimum fare, $3.75, and $10 tip on the app. I would gladly tip $10 to get me out of a terrible, inescapable conversation. Just curious, did the app add the $10, or did they choose to tip that amount? Imagine being so annoying that people get an Uber just to get away from you. I used to work on a team with a guy who had Asperger's and some related issues processing social cues. He would get started on a subject and just talk at people for 30 minutes plus without pausing for breath. He didn't get the cues that people were losing interest and would continue indefinitely unless you directly interrupted and told him to stop. He wouldn't be offended and generally appreciated being told he should have stopped. It was almost a rite of passage in the office to endure an extended one-way lecture about his choice of bathroom tiles or the benefits of all-weather road tires over winter tires, etc. To be fair, snow tires are the bomb. I can't keep a conversation for 5 minutes, how they find things to say for 30 minutes straight. SSSHH. Do you hear that? No. 1 second, and just run off. As a parent, this actually happens. Look. A distraction. Runs. Another option. SSSSH. Do you hear that? I hear nothing. That's what I like to hear. I don't mean to interrupt, but it's got to be done, so just do it. They need a break anyway. This is the right answer. You simply need to interrupt them, apologize for doing so and let them know you need to do something else. I don't mean to interrupt, but I have to take a ish. But you need to shut the F up, bitch. I have to return some videotapes. But Blockbuster closed years ago. Continues talking. I have to watch an Amazon rental before it expires. I have an A30 res at Dorsia. LOL, I love this one. I've used it a few times but no one ever gets it and I just look like a weirdo. You're just not terribly important to me. Is that a raincoat? Oh, you psycho. I don't want you to get drunk, but that's a very expensive glass of Chardonnay you're not drinking there. It isn't poisoned. And was getting a little chummy. When people get too chummy with me, I like to call them by the wrong name to let them know I don't really care. Ron Swanson. You're welcome. Lester. I don't know who this Ron Swanson guy is, but I like him. In a non-sexual way, of course. I worked side by side with a man for 5 years. Never learned his name. Best friend I've ever had. Ron Swanson. I read one of those mildly interesting newspaper features recently with an etiquette expert. Their advice was, rather than make an excuse, you should be more direct that you are ending the conversation and say something like, I've really enjoyed talking with you, I'm going to circulate around the room now, as it's less likely to create an expectation you might come back. It does work too. Okay, who the F has ever said they are going to circulate around the room? I'd I'ma head out. Leaves own house. Slowly rises out of chair. Heads out like a mad lad. A classic. Looking down with remote in hand. I gotta make like a fetus and head out. Other person, Don, let the flame die out. Listen for the briefest pause when they talk. BC, they got a breath at some point and say, hey listen, I really gotta go to the bathroom, I've been holding it in forever and I might just ish right here. Voila. You haven't met my mom and some members of her family. And the ish thing doesn't work with one of them. I've learned to hang up on people. Oh, no problem, follows you to the bathroom and keeps talking to you through the door. SHH. My turn. This only works if you stroke their face at the same time. Hand them one of these. Thanks, stop. But it doesn't have your phone number on it. Continues talking. Tell them you are having a rather heavy period and must go to the restroom before you bleed all over yourself. And if you're a guy, always upvote any monthly Python reference. Drop an enormous, 90 decibel, pants rattling fart while maintaining eye contact. Then smack your lips together to gesture that you can taste it. Then smile and say, "Excuse me. I have to go wipe." Establish dominance. "Oh, I'm sorry, but I ought to hurry, I got generic excuse. We can talk later." Did you just say generic excuse? "Oh, I'm sorry, but I ought to hurry, I got to ish like a effing Clydesdale. We can talk later. I have to return some videotapes." Right. Right. Great. Listen, I gotta go wash my crotch, I'll see ya later. I find myself leaning at a 45-degree angle, indicating the direction I'd like to go. Blow it out your ass. 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 Also, I gotta take a ish. If you know them well enough, a hand on the arm or shoulder will get someone to stop talking long enough for you to make your exit. Not needed though. It's been so great talking to you, but I'm late for something. I'm gonna try that. Just put my hand on their shoulder and stare deeply into their eyes without saying anything. I'm sure it won't be creepy. Use the Ben Carson method. Oh no, my luggage, walk away. My boyfriend and I sign that to each other when it's time to get the F out of social situations. Yo bitch, shut the F up. They asked politely. Yo bitch, please shut the F up. Tried this on my wife. She didn't like it. Fake a phone call. First, PM someone to call you. Then as your phone rings, just politely apologize and make your exit. Don't make the mistake of attempting audibly the ring crying ag yourself. Unless you're Michael Winslow, it will immediately backfire, defeating the whole purpose of the distraction. Happens all the time at work. Patients want to tell you their life story and I just want to get through my 200 tasks for the day. I pick up the phone and apologize. They usually leave, but there are those few who wait till you are done with the phone to keep talking. My co-workers are pretty good about it. If they see you in a pickle, they will come and ask if you can help them with a thing. If that doesn't work, then fake your own death and start over. Tell them you don't like sports. Then get looked at like you've told them you are a casual cannibal. This has so far never worked. I have to go, I left the baby on fire. Honey, why is the baby on fire? Buy me more jewelry. I meant to extinguish him before I left, but damn, I forgot again. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me. Jerry, insert newly present friend name here, just showed his face point stealthily, and that cavalier son of a bitch owes me money. Walk towards friend and loudly yell, Jerry, how are you, buddy? Go into to hug with friend and whisper frown for a second in their ear. Should be awkward for the overtalker you just ditched, and they'll leave you and Jerry be. Why not? Jerry, where the F is my money, you trash rodent, prepare to die? Maybe I'm thinking of a different kind of party. I really like this idea, might actually happen. Not polite, but I once had a roommate who talked and talked and talked, often about things I couldn't care less about. One time, I'd had enough, and I interrupted him, saying, Wait, can you go back a bit? He repeated the last thing he said. Sorry, before that. He went back further. Did this a couple more times, until he repeated the very first thing he'd said. Just before that. I hadn't said anything yet. Yes, exactly, go back to before you'd started talking. Perfect. He didn't bother talking to me so much after that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.